Hey guys, man, it has been a while since I posted a video on here. How have you guys been? I've been good. I've grown. Not physically, but you know. I am vertically challenged, but that's okay. Anyway, it's been 2 years, and yeah, I guess I'm gonna start doing these videos now where I review books. And that's cool. The reason why I'm doing this, though, is because I have this thread on Twitter where I post LGBT media that I consume. It's sort of a tribute to Pride. I couldn't go last year, which was initially why I started this. But now I'm going to do it because people ask me for recs all the time, and then I just blank out. So now here's a way to do it without feeling on the spot. So I decided to start making videos for these ones because a lot of my descriptions, I want to exceed the character max, but I can't do it. So yeah, I'm going to start posting these videos instead. So let's do it. So this book that I just read is called Bleeding Earth, and it's by Kaitlin Ward. And the quote on top says, "Dark, gory, and impossible to put down, a worthy addition to the horror genre." And if you know me, I love myself some good horror. And I love all kinds of horror. I love slashers. I love gore to an extent. Like there's a way to do gore. And if you can't do it right, then I'm not gonna love it. I will, in fact, hate its guts. No. Okay, so Bleeding Earth. I'm gonna start with a summary and then I'm gonna go into spoilers. So basically, well, you know what? I'm gonna read the back. It'll be easier. So, Leah was in a cemetery when the earth started bleeding all over the world. Blood oozed out of the ground, through the concrete, and into the water. Then the earth started growing hair and bones. Leah wishes she could ignore the blood. She longs to spend time with her new girlfriend, Aracely, in public. If only Aracely wasn't so afraid of her father. Leah wants to be a regular teen again, but the blood has made her a prisoner in her own home. Fear for her social life... Wait, what? Fear for her social life turns into fear for her sanity, and Leah must save herself and her girlfriend however she can. Wow, I just realized how cliche teenager that sounds. It's definitely... At first, I was like, this can't be a YA book, but it is a YA book, for sure. So it is, because it started to feel a little bit below my reading level, and that's fine. I read YA a lot. It's one of my favorite genres of reading, and you can't go wrong with it, really. I'd say that don't judge it too harshly just from the beginning is my, you should probably read it all the way through. Don't stop, because, I was thinking about stopping in the beginning because it started to feel really young, and I was like, I don't know if this book's for me, but, I don't regret reading all the way to the end. Like, I would do it again. This is on my reread list for sure, because, yeah. So I'm going to start going into spoiler section. So if you want to hear spoilers, that's cool. But if you don't, you should probably leave, buy the book, read it, and then come back. So 3, 2, 1, let's talk about spoilers. So let's start with the characters, because characters are a very important thing to me as a reader. If the characters aren't developed, if they don't have any development at all, or if they're flat characters, I can't read a book like that. I need to have characters that are likable, that I can root for. Like, not even just the main character. Like, I want characters that surround them. Like, sometimes I don't even like the main character, but like the side characters, and that's what makes me stay. So I will explain the characters to you guys. Leah is the main character. And sometimes throughout the book, well, I mean, you guys probably read it, maybe. If you haven't, Leah's the main character, and she at some points during the book, almost seems like a unreliable narrator, which I fucking love. Like, I love it, especially because it's a horror book. If it's a horror book and you can't even fucking trust the main character, oh my god. Like, that's just, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. I fucking love horror, guys. And yeah, if I'm like raving about this book, then yeah, that's saying something, because I am a hard critic when it comes to horror. But anyway, Aracely's her girlfriend. Aracely, they haven't really been seeing each other for that long. And she is scared of coming out. Well, not really scared, but she hasn't come out yet. And I'll say she's scared because she fears for judgment from her father and her friends, because yeah, she doesn't know how they'd react. There's Leah's best friend Hillary, who is probably my favorite character in the entire book. She's just super well-rounded character, super supportive of Leah through everything. There's a few other side characters too, like Felix and Cadence. Michaela's one of the ones that I don't really like. There's Levi, who's Hillary's boyfriend, and then there's who else is there? There's Hillary's parents, and then Hillary's brother Finn. And then there's Leah's parents. Leah's parents, I feel like, so the way that things are described are in Leah's point of view. This is written in first person, but the thoughts are they're pretty, like, it's very easy to distinguish what Leah likes and what she doesn't like. And I appreciate that, because sometimes there's such flat main characters out there that have the personality of boxes. So the fact that it's easy right away, like Leah's like, yeah, I don't like that, but I like that. Like, you need that in a book. Like, tell me what the fuck the character likes and what they don't like. So right in the beginning, it's super clear that she doesn't want to fucking drink blood. When the blood starts to rise, water starts to become a concern. That's like the first thing that they think of. They're like, okay, start putting water in buckets, because we don't know how much longer we're going to have clean water. Which is smart as fuck. Like, honestly, I don't know. That's something that my parents would probably think of doing first. I wouldn't. I would die. But when they start seeing a little bit of pink in the water, and the president's like, oh no, it's fine, you can still drink it, it's not toxic or anything, Leah was immediately like, no. Right? And the gore in this book, I just want to appreciate a little bit, because okay, the first time the blood starts happening, it's a little too simple. Like, it's a little too tame. I'm like, okay, this isn't that bad. There were a few times in this book, though, where I felt a little sick to my stomach. There were some parts where I almost gagged, but I did not. There were some parts where I was really fucking close to gagging, but I was able to hold it in, because it wasn't to that extreme level yet. It was getting there, though. It was almost there. And there were certain parts in the book where I was like, man, if this happened, I would have been there, man. I would have probably threw up. I probably would have puked. But, so basically, the part where the hair started to come up, when they first discovered it, was a part where I was like, ugh. It was where I actually started to feel that sickness in my stomach. I started to feel a little woozy, and I was like, oh, that's a little gross. When the bone started to show up, it wasn't that bad, but there was this description of the bone that really, it was where there was a bone on the school step, and it was covered in blood, and there was hair wrapped around it like a spool, and I was like, oh god. So that was one of the other moments. One of the moments that had me on the edge of my seat, which is probably my favorite part of the entire book, was when they were at the apocalypse party, and they were having that chicken game where they were like, no, if you drink half the blood, then I'll drink half the blood. That, I was like, oh fuck, if Leah drinks blood and I get a full description of how it tastes, I will probably puke. When Levi drank half of the blood, I was on the edge there. I was like, oh shit, this is happening. I was equal parts relieved, but also disappointed that she didn't drink the blood. Because honestly, okay, I am a crazy person because I love gore and I love horror. And I sort of wanted her to drink the blood because it would have been so fucking fascinating, because it would have been fucking poetic, because the entire first half of the book, Leah was like, no, I will not fucking drink that blood. And it also has toxins in it, which makes things 100 times worse. As a person who has personal irrational fears about drinking blood, because I've had several really bad bloody noses in my life where the blood like just trickles down your throat in clumps. Yeah. I'm honest. I would probably have thrown up if she actually drank the blood. Because there were parts where she explained imagining drinking blood, and I was already like, I was already feeling a little sick. But, yeah, that was really getting personal for me. But, she didn't drink the blood, but I was on the edge of my seat, like, just fucking holding my breath the entire time, and I fucking love those moments in books where they have me at the edge of my seat like that, where I'm like, oh shit. It's almost as good as watching an actual movie about it. So, yeah, there was that moment. There was another moment in the book where Leah was trapped in the house with her mom, and they were both not sure whether to trust each other or themselves. It was fun because they didn't know who was actually going crazy. That was where the mom was barricading the door, and she's like, what are you doing? Dad's not home yet. And she was like, oh, he left like 2 days ago, and he's still not back. Something's wrong. And Leah was like, what do you mean? He left this morning. And then they were like, someone here's wrong. Someone here's going fucking crazy. And I don't know whether it's you or me. So they were and that was like, I loved that, because you as the reader's like, who the fuck is the one going crazy? Yeah, that was a fun scene. I wanted it, I'll be honest, because I didn't know what was going on or what was going to happen. So I was like, I sort of want them to stay in this house and have like this little game of like, who's going crazy? who's actually, you know, fucking deteriorating here. But that's okay, because it did get better. When Aracely and Leah were on their own trying to find their way to the dam, and things were just getting worse and worse. I also love how the entire book was like a downward spiral. Like, it was so happy in the beginning. Well, not really happy, but it was like, it was decent in the beginning, and then like normal, and then all of a sudden it was like, woo, like just downward from there. But I love how, like, trust in the major themes in this book were paranoia, trust issues, and survival. And those were really good themes in this book. Like, I don't know, I love survival stories. Like, I love, horror, like apocalypse survival story, like novels, and like, I just love that genre in general, where people are trying to work to survive. And I really liked how when they were on their own, they were starting to have serious trust issues, not only with each other, but with themselves. And I love how they're like, we need to get rid of the gun. Like, that moment, I was like, and then they finally got to the dam. I also loved how, the thoughts of Leah were like, yo, I couldn't even trust my mom. How can I trust someone who I've only been dating for like a few weeks? I was like, fair. Yeah, I loved that about this book, because it was so realistic. Like, there's a lot of teenager things in this book. Like, they make stupid teenager choices, and I'll be honest, when I was reading it, I was like, that's fucking stupid. But then a minute later, I was like, sounds like something I would do when I was a teenager. Your friends are like your life when you're a teenager, so it does make sense. And as for the end, I found it a little lacking, I'll be honest, because the blood sort of just disappeared. It's like, oh, it's over. Cool. We're okay. We're broken because we killed people, but we're okay. I'll be honest, I sort of wanted to set up for a sequel where it was like, and we were safe, but for how long? And I wanted it to be like the sequel takes place like years later, where Araceli and Leah are now these like, not really desensitized, but they're a little more desensitized to it than they were then, because throughout the entire book it was like moral issues. It was like, oh shit, like I might have to actually kill someone. Oh shit. And when they actually did kill people, they're like, oh my god. And it's realistic, and that's my point. That's what I loved about it, because in this book they didn't just drop you in the middle of the apocalypse. Like, you were there for the entire beginning of it, from beginning to actual end, right? And so you get to watch the collapse of humanity. So they're still getting used to the fact that they might have to loot and kill to survive, and they have to do what they have to do to survive. I wanted to see them actually develop in a world like that. I wanted to see it progress. And it didn't, unfortunately, but that's okay. It was still a solid book. I would give it a 4 out of 5. But because of that lacking ending, it is a 4 out of 5. It would have been higher. Would have been maxed out, honestly. But also the relationships, I dug the relationships a lot. Like it was a decent book, like, and it didn't feel intrusive to the horror storyline, because it would be kind of weird. It's kind of weird to have a romance in a horror novel, but romance is romance. It would be there regardless. Like, if you love a person and you all of a sudden get thrown into this awful, horrible thing, it's still gonna be there. Like, it's not just gonna up and disappear. And they made it realistic in that way, which I appreciate. What else can I talk about? Yeah, I guess that's all, right? Yeah. Yeah, there were moments though. Like I said, huge horror fan, watched all the movies, seen all the things. Movies are a lot more gimmicky, and novels are different. So when Leah does stupid shit, there were some parts where I was like, oh my god, you're so fucking stupid. That's just me as a critic. But honestly, everything else in the book sort of overrode the stupid decisions that some of the characters made. Like drinking the blood, I was like, that's really dumb. But they're teenagers, so honestly, yeah, it's also, another theme in this book is natural human curiosity. Because there were parts in the book where Leah was like, oh, it feels like I'm being drawn towards the blood. I'm being called. It's calling me. And there are parts where you're like, maybe she's just going crazy. But there are also other parts of you that's like, maybe she's just curious, honestly, because there's blood fucking coming out of the ground. And there's something, like, when it rains, people romanticize rain, right? And it's not exactly a fun thing to be in. So there's got to be something aesthetically pleasing about that. I don't know. That's just, I mean, it's still disgusting, yeah, but yeah, that's another thing that I sort of dug about it, where it was talking about natural human curiosities. That was another thing. There were some things that weren't really explained, though. Like, there was this part where she was seeing blood coming out of the walls, but then it wasn't really there. But then she touched it, and there was blood on her hands. That was weird. Like, I don't know how to feel about that. Like, what was the point of that scene? That was the only scene where that felt super out of place. I was just like, so is the blood, like, camouflaging itself? So, I don't know. No, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, because the blood started to recede. So maybe it was really there, but then it started to recede. Huh. Okay. Yeah, that would sort of make sense, actually. Sorry for that random realization. But, yeah, I recommend this book to anyone, really. I'm probably going to reread it sometime in the future. But, yeah, I love it when I have fun reading a book. Where, like that moment where they were about to drink the blood, I was at the edge of my seat. Like, I was screeching in my seat, and my dad had to come in my room. He's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm just reading. It's okay." Yeah, you would have fun reading this book. Like, it's a fun read, all in all. And if you already have read it, that was a ride. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and yeah, I'll be making more of these videos as I continue to consume media, LGBTQ plus media, that is. And I love diverse books too, so yeah, hey, if you guys have recs for me, send them at me, and then I'll make reviews about them. My next book, actually, I have with me right now, because I thought I would get to it, but I didn't. Crap, I took the cover off so I wouldn't ruin it, because it's so pretty. Hold on. We Set the Dark on Fire. So I'll get that review to you guys soon. Probably in a few days, because my reading speed is pretty fast. So I'll talk to you guys later. See ya. And I hope to read more and see more for all of you guys for me to review. Hope you guys survive in that world out there. See ya.